Hey, yo, what's going on, guys? We got Marvel Yap episode number 3, and it is going to be a certified banger. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, I am joined with my co-hostess with the mostest, not my Dance. How we doing, Dance?
Doing absolutely great, Kyle. That's a fun one. That's a fun little bit to call me. Appreciate it. The co-hostest with the mostestest. No, I think I added an extra dist in there.
I like this.
Just as we just continue adding more dist. Is it dist or tist? God, I don't know. I can't English. It's really difficult.
Probably just, but yeah.
I heard it both ways. I don't know which one you just said. But how are you doing, my man?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm not having any problems pronouncing weird sounds at all, thankfully, this week. I've been having a good time. I've been, what is it? I know we talked about it at the beginning of last stream, but was it like the book and stuff? Because your birthday, right, was just this week.
Yep.
If y'all weren't there, Tucker did a 24-hour stream. Insane guy. Had a great time on his stream. If you guys weren't there, the VOD should still be up over on his Twitch channel. You should watch it. It was a really fun time. And
Crazy
what is it?
Holy.
Yeah, it was crazy. I think I realized like during it or like right before that you and I are actually like super close in birthday because mine is like in 2 or 3 weeks from right now. And so with that though, it would be I was talking to my wife about what exactly I want for my birthday because I suck at that. Are you someone like that who just like I don't know what I want for my birthday? And I think I've said socks for the last 2 or 3 years in a row for birthdays and Christmases pretty much.
Anything within reason, I probably suck at. I have some grand birthday ideas, but I try to talk about those like a couple months in advance, opposed to a week. Or
fair,
2, like,
yeah. No, that's fair. I've kept a note. I have a note on my phone that is just I want, and I just add stuff in there. And because of the camping trip and as well as our conversations, I've added pretty much every single Rick Riordan book I don't have in there.
Let's go.
I've got so many more in there. I also refound the Kane Chronicles Percy Jackson crossover book that I didn't know I had it, and I reread that this weekend. It was so good. It was a great time.
That one. I didn't know that was actually a thing. Fun fact.
Oh, you didn't? You haven't read that one? Oh, I can't spoil it. That's a good. I love that. I love that one. Oh, I'm so upset that you haven't read that actually.
Yeah, I need to add that to my list and actually probably, yeah, maybe I'll read it during some of this moving stuff going forward. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're gonna be moving soon. Yeah, that's fair. No, it's such a good series. There's so much fun stuff with the Egyptian gods and everything like that. I don't know, but I mean, we could speak about the Egyptian gods. We do have the Norse gods on the screen right now, unfortunately.
Like it's crazy. Like Loki got nerfed, quote unquote, /buff /rework /whatever, and then it literally feels like no, Loki is just actually way better than he was before. You plug him into the best shell in the game, and it's just every single matchup is Arishem Loki onto, even though they had an extra 3 cards added to their deck now with Arishem, it just doesn't feel like it even made a difference.
See, that's the biggest thing. I think I mentioned that when the Arishem change first occurred, or like last week. That change, yes, it is probably good, but now it makes situations where you get Loki'd early on and stuff like that feel so much worse because now the odds are even worse for that to happen.
Yes.
Which is exactly what I said was going to happen, and it feels so much worse. And new Loki's busted.
Yeah, it feels better because you had to keep the tech cards you already drew opposed to like losing them and having to like re-get them, and it just feels like they always had the nuts. That's what it feels like.
Really? Yeah, it really does. What are we so like to fully put ourselves into this topic? What are the topics we're talking about today, Tuck? What are they? Just so we can actually go through them rather than just talking about books, birthdays, and busted cards for the 3Bs.
That's a good point. Well, not to jump the shark or anything, it is Jeff week, or it was Jeff week last week.
It was.
But our topics for today are the game's health, OTA candidates, and meta or fun, which I believe is a new section of the show for today that Dance came up with. Yeah,
that's gonna be a fun one. We'll see how that goes. It's gonna be a little bit of a game. It's meant to be just a conversational point, a little bit of game show stuff. It'll be simple on that front, but the game health, that's self-explanatory. We're hitting it already. Loki is, I don't know. The meta feels like it's Loki Arishem.
Yeah, it's Loki Arishem with a sprinkle of salt or sand, you might say, with
Yes.
some Sandman everywhere too. And then I think if you guys really think about it too, Surfer's in a really good spot, and I think Surfer is another deck list that kind of you can play into both of these matchups fairly well, which we'll talk about that with some of these cards that I have for OTA candidates a little bit later too.
Just because you put out a video on Surfer yesterday doesn't mean you can plug that, just talk about how great Surfer is. What do you mean? It's not like it's right there probably in the, what is it, if you're on your, what is it, the computer, it's definitely not like right over here in the recommended, or if you're on mobile, it's definitely not below the video. Like, why would you be looking for that stuff?
We look at Untap stats, so I was looking at that first. I wasn't trying to shamelessly plug anything.
Of course not. No. You would never. He would never.
Never, ever. No.
No, it feels like I'm just so over Erisham and Loki right now. I don't know. Yes, I think there's some ways it's technically beatable, but at the same time, I'm so over mirror matches. Let me play the deck I want to. Let me play the deck and make it feel like the opponent actually has to use some sort of skill to play against me. I don't want, maybe not even skill to play against me, but like skill to make a deck rather than just being like Erisham, Loki, and then, I don't know, whatever, the 10 other tech cards they want to use that they will probably all have drawn before they Loki on turn 2 anyway. It was what it feels like. I'm just over it.
It's just like, at the end of the day, I'm okay losing to someone who outplayed me better and like had better skill in that sense than it's just the RNG. The RNG just feels so bad, because even if they don't have Loki, Erisham still randomly generates a bunch of stuff to just win them the game, kind of, it feels like. And that's just the moment where it's like, I played this game the best I could, but like, even in hindsight, I didn't have any way out because Erisham just had all of the cards they needed to win the game.
Yeah. No, and I feel like I've had that so many times where, even before this meta, where it was just like, oh, okay, I got hit with Sokovia into Lechugila, and then, I don't know, other location that screwed me over, and I'm like, I'm willing to accept it's just location variance. That's what the retreat button is for. It's meant to be your mulligan. Sure, okay. But when every single game feels like I need to be hitting that mulligan because I'm either trying to play more than one card in the final turn because I, want to do something interesting rather than just dropping Ultron, like my Sandman opponent does, or my own cards for, I don't know, it just feels like so much of the game currently is just locking you out of the interesting stuff that you would like to do. Whether that be from your opponent truly locking you from doing more than one card, or just doing all your stuff, but better.
Yeah, it's definitely like, and even like, we're like, yo, we got some new cards coming out. Let's see if people make some brand new decks with them. And it's like, yo, Wiccan's giving you +2 max energy. Woohoo. But now it's, I'm playing Wiccan on 4, and I'm going to Loki you. So I have all of your cards and this extra 2 energy, not just the 1 energy from Erisham. And it just feels like, okay, I loved the deck building for the 2 days it was before everyone plugged Wiccan into Loki, or before, Speed actually feels like actually a card that people are using differently. So like, it's like you're using Speed in any sort of like control list maybe, or you're using it maybe not in Loki. Maybe you are using it with Wiccan. So like this, I was like, okay, this card's boring, but it has a good base stats kind of thing. So like if I lose to Speed, okay, you actually, you just used your energy the right way. I'm not upset about it. But it's just like everything else is just plug into Erisham, plug into Loki, and it's just repeated.
Yeah, I mean, what is it? Yeah, we can talk about Speed. Yeah, he technically came out this week. Honestly, I forgot. I feel like he's not a card that in any way, shape, or form is going to be like, Speed, best card this season, best Speed. No, it's Speed. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. He feels extremely lackluster, not really exciting. And I think that's how he's going to be. And I think I don't know if there's really much more you can get from him. No. The fact that I think he's not feeling atrocious is okay. Like I kind of, with the first couple days, I was really seeing like nothing. And I was like, oh, he may even be bad. But I think he's just exactly what was said. He's going to be okay.
Yeah, totally think he's going to be okay. He's good stats. Like he literally minimum is like a 3-5, I feel. I think you get him up to 3-8 more often than not. But it's just boring to play. Okay, 3-8. I just would play Gladiator instead and get more out of them,
Gladiator or, Cassandra Nova, who is again, the counter to, you know, the whole airship, which it feels like is in so many places. Okay, this is, so, you know, I like playing a lot more of the, what is it called? A lot more Conquest.
Yes.
Rather than ladder, personally. I've been so over Conquest this week because it feels like I'm locked in a room with the Hulk, and it's me. And I'm over it. And unless I've got my backup plan of Cassie right here,
yep.
I can't. I can't. I don't have a chance, and there's no point in me trying to stand for this fight. And I'm like, I'm just getting bullied. I don't want to be here. So I've been playing so much more ladder this week because of that too. It's just been like, at least if I'm getting aeroshimmed and it's a Loki on 2, I can retreat and know that I don't have to deal with it immediately. I might still, because, you know, people be people, but it's not going to be the same person who's going to be doing it. So I feel slightly better about it.
And I think also, like, we got to think, leagues were also this weekend, and you couldn't do league stuff in Conquest. So I feel like more people were playing ladder, which gave you a bit of diversity when it came to some of these ladder situations. Even though there was an exploit that I heard about in leagues, where, like, if you
apparently they fixed it quickly though.
Yeah, so
they did it quickly, but it was like you could play friendly battles for the first like couple hours or so, and then they fixed it very quickly. Apparently, at least they removed it.
Yes.
I don't know. I honestly kind of wish they had done that with Proving Grounds in the previous one.
Just remove.
Do you?
Oh my gosh, would have been so easy.
Do you think that they should that Conquest in general should have been included in leagues?
I think Conquest should be included because I don't like the idea of you limiting one singular game mode to something so broad as it is, because some people just don't like playing ladder at all. So I feel like there's a way they could maybe fine-tune Conquest in that way. I mean, it's different because it's not like leagues is some complete alternate game mode like Deadpool's Diner. Like, I don't think there's a way that could have like blended together, but I think there should be a way for you to do Conquest or do ranked for leagues in the future. Yeah.
No, I'd agree with that. I feel like, I really feel like leagues in general should have been you should have included Conquest. I get not including Proving Grounds because of like the way that stuff was exploited. I also even kind of get the silver. I think silver kind of makes sense. Gold, it feels like should have been included.
Yes.
Gold, I would say, is the only one that I would have been like, that feels like that should have been allowed just for that little bit. And maybe people still would have win traded in there, maybe.
But like, you have to spend a ticket, and I feel like that's also, you get gold tickets all the time from your caches, so it would give you an incentive to actually play Gold Conquest more. Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, and it gets added to Gold Conquest, and then it just becomes, you know, everything is win trading inside of there, maybe. But I feel like it's a much higher place typically that I don't think that would be occurring.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think when it comes, you have to spend a resource to be able to do this as well. I think that kind of gives a different level of incentive opposed to just boosting.
Yeah, and I think it's a different resource rather than just silver, because silver, yes, you technically have to give a resource to do it, but the resource you actually have to give is much more minuscule in comparison to how much gold is, right? I think it's like 15 gold versus like 200 or something like that, or 100 or 80. It's a lot more. It's a big difference.
80. Yeah.
80. Okay, yeah. But so I feel like there's a very large difference, at least in that little bit, and so I don't mind that separation at least.
Yeah, no,
but
I think that's valid.
Yeah, but at least on the game health, I don't know. I feel like it's so crazy, but right before the OTA, yes, I was actually thinking like the game was in one of the healthiest places it had been in a while. Like, I don't know, I felt like I was able to play like the majority of lists and be like, this is cool, this is competitive, it's interesting. Sandman's annoying, but it's easy to read and figure out when they're going to do it and play around it. Yeah, but now it's like, it just feels like there's so many walls and just so unfun currently.
It literally feels like this OTA was a bunch of cards getting hit by a tissue, and it just falls off because the OTA feel like it had like almost no impact. The Man Thing change was cool, and it made Man Thing more playable, but everything else, all the nerfs, didn't really feel like they did all too much. Maybe Nocturne out at a 3/5, you can feel that a little bit. Cassandra Nova losing 1 power, I don't feel that. Aerishim getting 3 extra cards, I don't feel that. Loki didn't get
I'm pretty sure he lost 3 cards considering how many turn 2 Lokis and turn 5 blobs I've seen. It's just, I don't know. It's the same. It's what I said before. It's just it feels worse.
Yep.
Airsham feels worse. It is a pure feels bad card now, and that's it. And it's so unfortunate.
It's like it's a cool archetype, and I wish it felt like it was just fun to play against Airsham, but it literally is just draining.
Yeah, I don't know. I want Airsham's such a cool card. Put him in a timeout for now. I hate to say it, but he needs to go in timeout. Give him. I don't care if you give him 300 cards. He'll still get extra stuff. I think he'll still have Loki on turn 2. I don't know how. But it's just I don't know. Airsham is just I'm just so over Airsham currently. It's rough.
Yeah, I think with that, let's look over some OTA candidates. If you want to start off with the OTA candidates over here.
All right. Here's the thing. I have my first card. If I'm going to talk about the very first card, I want to see. I'm talk about some love. Okay, we're starting it off negative. I want to talk about a little bit of love here.
Okay.
The very first card I really think needs to get some love here is our favorite dino riding gal, Moon Girl.
Oh, okay.
Moon Girl, I feel like is a card that's been very slept on currently, and you can't really use except for maybe a couple of like She-Hulk or like Abomination combo cards where you're just playing a bunch of cards at one turn. I think that she used to have so much more potential, and she used to do so much more. And right now, she's currently at at 0.4% popularity according to the stats we talked about earlier. She's looking rough. She got a negative cube rate, 0.07, not a whole lot, but a win rate of 48.4% is still not great in any way here. I want to see her go to a 3-3, which is what she was in the beta, and I think she'd do good here. I don't think I talked about this a couple weeks ago when I was talking about a bunch of nerfs, a bunch of buffs. She's one I think is going to be a really good one, and I like her a lot. I want her to be able to be a good card, and I think just give her a little boost like that.
I really like the 3-3 set line. I think that makes a lot of sense, even for like early pool gameplay. I think at a 3-3, it fits better on curve opposed to some of this late game stuff, and I like that synergy a lot more. I'm so for Moon Girl being a 3-3.
Yeah, it even works with some surfer. Like you can do some fun surfer stuff now with her. Like that'd be a super cool combo. You just get so much more interesting interactions with her than what you currently have, and I feel like I'd love to see it. I want to see her do some good stuff there.
Yeah, no, I'm totally here for a 3-3 buff because like we don't have any way to energy cheat out Moon Girl, I guess, unless you want to Psylocke out Moon Girl, but like or Zabu.
Oh, so yeah, I was about to say Zabu. There's that card. Do you remember that one? Remember that card?
That card. We forget about that card.
Yeah, I wonder why. It's crazy.
But if we're talking about feels good cards and cards that I think need some extra love, and I'm gonna stay in the 4-cost range as well. I'm gonna go over to a White Queen. And I think we can buff White Queen. And I'm thinking either a 4-7 or a 4-8 for Emma Frost. I think a 4-6, it just right now isn't... It's just not in the same spot anymore. If you look at 4-6 and what they can do, like you think of your Iron Lad, I think that's like the main 4-6 I think of. Even like Omega Red's like a 4-5, and he gets +3 to some of these other locations. But I think a White Queen at like a 4-7 or like a 4-8, maybe keeping the same ability, I think, because it is an earlier game card, just getting a little bit extra love. I mean, they gave Angel to 2-3. I think they can give some White Queen some extra power as well.
So I'm actually going to pull this up by a message that Glenn Jones said in February this year. I don't know if you have this one, but so he said that White Queen is a weak card, indicative of an inaccuracy in costing and power more generally. I've previously discussed how White Queen isn't a case where it really feels like a pure upside for her stat line. A 4-7 would be purely upside, but he also doesn't believe that a 4-7 would be playable, which is strange. So as much as I agree that she needs a buff, I don't think that the buff you recommend is what she would get or what she would need. I think she needs a little bit of like a Captain America change, where she would have to do something good. Like she could maybe give you a card for one cheaper, lower her power, or she buffs the card. But I don't think her being buffed herself would make her playable.
What if she stole the card instead?
That could be very interesting as well.
Maybe you make her a 5-cost at that point, but you steal the 6-drop.
Ooh, a 5-cost that steals the card that costs the most from you. Ooh.
Yes.
I don't even know if I mind that. I don't know if I mind that. Yeah.
It'd be like a 5-2 or a 5-3 because like how crazy that ability is. but like that'd be pretty cool.
Without any sense of balance, I like it. I definitely think she needs a lot more than just a stat change.
Yes.
That seems like an interesting idea, and I don't mind that. As I can say, as someone who has never designed this game and will never design this game, I can say that is a great idea, and it will definitely be in the next OTA. You have my word as a really good designer in Marvel Snap. I'm being sarcastic. I like the idea. I just
the best.
I do like it. The bestest designer, of course, with the mostest. Okay, I'm gonna talk about the elephant in the room, the card that costs the second most instead of all of Marvel Snap. Airshim, he's rough right now. He needs a lot of stuff. In all honesty, I think you make it so the cards he generates can't be ones that started in your deck.
I like that.
I think Loki needs a change, and I don't have one written down. I'm gonna say that real fast. I think Loki needs a change, and I do not have a change for him written down because I'm going to accept the fact that like legitimately on the previous point, I'm not a bouncer for this game. I'm not going to be able to figure it out well enough. I think Second Dinner will. I'm hoping they're gonna have something for this OTA fixing that because I don't know what to do exactly with this because it's not my job, whatever. But if I'm talking about it, I think Airshim is part of the problem. I think Airshim makes it so you can't generate the same cards you started with, so you don't get potentially double blobbed, double Quinjet, just all those really fun cards. So you do that. I think Loki needs a change too. I just don't know what that is. So I'm gonna put both of them out there, but this is the only one I'm gonna focus on here for this boy.
I like the Airshim. You can't have duplicates. I think potentially if it gets too crazy, you have Airshim start in your hand as well to limit one of your draws, kind of like Thanos, if it gets to that point. So I like the Airshim change. Now with the Loki change, I think you make Loki a 4/4. You increase his cost and decrease one of his power. It'll give him a little slap on the wrists. I don't think it completely nukes the archetype by any means. It limits it to an extra turn for Airshim, loses 1 power for Loki as well. But I think you would need to increase Loki's cost again because he was a 3/5 when he released, and he was incredible with the Wiz ability, and then he was a 4/5 and still as good. And at a 3/5 again, he's like literally even better than he was before.
Yeah, I definitely think he's better. I'm gonna go wild. I think if you're saying 4/4, I don't think he can draw a card.
Okay.
I don't think he can. I think if you made him a 4/1, he could draw a card, maybe. But I do not think he, or this one, she, can draw a card. I really feel like that is Loki's busted.
Yeah.
I think I'm not gonna know if it's correct or not, but the drawing a card on top of the whole thing, like there's a whole like Crystal is now dead in the water even more than before.
Yes.
And it really, like Loki getting a cheaper card and drawing that one as well is just insane to me. The fact, like, there's so many different. I'm fine, whatever you say. You know what? Let's make him a 6. Can we say 6 cost card? Doesn't draw anything else. I'm fine with that too. Can we do that?
You ramp out Loki. You wave.
Yeah.
Loki
You have to wave. You have to wave or Wiccan. That's the only way you're getting him out early. Or you Tinker's Workshop's hot location, or is it Project Pegasus? I don't remember which one. It's one of those locations that give you the +5 extra.
That's Project Pegasus. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. That'll be hot location as soon as that change has gone through. It's a 6 cost.
No.
I'm over these cards. I'm over both of them. I think Airshim's a really cool archetype, and I want people to be able to play him more. Loki, if people have been whining about for months and months and months, I take it behind the shed at this point. I don't care about Loki.
Just
take Loki behind.
Old Yeller Loki.
I'm sorry. I want Loki to get old Yellered. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry at all. I don't know why I'm saying sorry. I'm not. I'm over him. I'm over it entirely. So anything you say that hurts this card, I'm gonna say hurt it more.
All right. I mean, you heard it here first. Now, do you have another positive OTA candidate after?
I do have a. Okay, I really don't know if it's. I think it's. I want it to be a buff. I think it's a buff.
Okay.
I think so. I want Celine to get a buff.
Okay.
Silver Sable's coming out soon.
Yeah. Okay.
Silver Sable. I think it's next month, maybe. I don't remember if it's like month following. Is it next week? It's actually next week. Okay. I want Celine to be able to compete with Silver Sable. There's no point in playing Celine if you're playing Silver Sable. I want Celine to do a -2 power from each of the cards and give herself 1 more power.
It's like a 1/3 and -2?
1/3 and then -2 on each of the cards.
Okay.
You basically swap the 2 and the 3 in the ability and then her actual stats right there. She really, if you're going to talk about some cards that are really rough currently, if I pull up her actual stats here, we didn't talk about the stats for Airship and Loki. They're a lot. They're everywhere. I don't care. She's currently one of the worst cards right now in terms of cube rate right now. She's a negative 0.18 with a win rate of 46.0%. And even with the Ajax decks that are running around everywhere, Celine still isn't used in them. If you're using them, you're running Copium.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm calling you out. I'm pretty sure you used her.
I used her in one list, but she made some sense actually in the list we used.
Yeah, but I'm still calling you out. No, I want her to be a cool card. I would love it if she was actually interesting, and I think, especially with Silver Sable, you got to do something else with Celine here.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think that's fair too, because Silver Sable, you get to bounce Silver Sable and actually get value. Bouncing Celine's kind of just, you don't really get any feels good moments from it. So.
Yeah, bouncing Silver Sable turns her insane. Like, she's gonna be an amazing card in bounce lists, and then Celine is over here like doing jack all, like legitimately. I don't know. I don't even know if she's still good at that stat line, but I want to see it happen.
I think she was better at a 1-1/2 because she could Annie her over.
Yeah, even that. Yeah, I don't even know if I mind that as much.
Yeah.
It just, I want to see her be. I just think she needs to get worse, or like I don't know. She either needs to get worse so that it's better to send her over, or she needs to hurt you less to use her.
Yeah. No.
But she's the Black Queen. She needs to do some more.
No, I like it. And honestly, staying kind of in a similar vein, okay? I think you can make Annihilus a 5/7 again.
Ooh, okay. You're gonna have to sell me on this one. I don't know if I'm on board with this train yet.
So like with the junk we're facing a lot right now, it's not Annie junk that we're really getting overrun by. It's just a lot of other areas that you clog. It's more of a White Widow issue, more of a Goblin issue, and it's a Hazmat Ajax thing opposed to an Annihilus thing. I think you can give Annihilus the 5/7 power once again, and it wouldn't be too disruptive, especially since, Sentry already got hit with a nuke, and, we're not seeing as much Sentry Annie clog. We're seeing more just debris and, Hazmat sort of clog.
I feel like the change that hurt the Annihilus list more so, and it's gonna sound crazy, but I actually think it was Viper.
Yeah.
I think Viper you don't need to use Annihilus anymore. I think the fact that Viper is now targeting the cheapest card consistently is much more so the reason why Annihilus hurts, or Annihilus isn't used as much, because you don't need to oftentimes, because you can put him out cheaper with Viper and then also get the negative affliction across the entire board.
Or Cersei. Cersei also really.
Cersei, you got LDS who they just buffed as well, right? There's so many different changes, and I feel like, yeah, I think maybe adding some power back to Annihilus would fix it, but at the same time, I don't know if it would honestly be enough. I just feel like I feel like the meta game has shifted, and I don't know if it's in a way that he will be able to recover from or be able to be competitive inside of.
Now, what if we go even crazier? And if it is anything that has 0 or less power, switches sides.
Well, then Clog becomes even better. Clog's already everywhere. I don't know. I'm nope. You've lost me. I'm sorry. I'm jumping off the train. I can't.
Right,
I can't.
That's fair.
I can't jump. I can't be on that train. I don't mind him getting a buff, but the question is him being competitive still with the current meta game, and that's all the other cards we currently have.
Yes.
So, I don't think he's a bad card, and I don't know if this change is one of the best ones or if it's even a bad one. There's so much stuff out currently that is very much fighting for that same slot where he is.
No, I agree.
Yeah. But if I'm gonna talk about one more that's really just fighting, and it's not even a fight, it's currently just the best 3-cost card we currently have, other than Loki, Copycat should go to 3/4.
Yes, I do agree. I think Copycat at 3/4 makes a lot of sense. I think for what it does, it's so good. It's literally insane, the value. Even if you hear the animation, it's still just really good.
That needs to get fixed. That needs to get fixed. That needs to get fixed. That's a very annoying bug that it still exists. I called that it was still going to be there in the patch. It was. That one needs to get changed too. I just think Copycat is. It just. I mean, you said it. I could have thought that you pitched this idea. Yeah, she needs to get hurt. Put her down. Not put her down. Just let her sit in the corner.
And if you take away the sound too, I think you definitely need to tweak her power for sure.
Yeah, I think 3/4. I could even see a 3/3. The fact that it also steals the text is so damn good.
It's got to be like 3/3. I think you got to take 2 power, or you make her a 3/2 if you don't have the animation or like the sound. Kind of like how Rogue steals an ability and she's a 3/2. Like I think.
And she only steals ongoing.
Yeah.
So the only thing is you could be like, oh, Copycat is random in the card. You don't get always the benefit of it. And Rogue still is random too. Yeah, I don't know. 3/4, 3/3. I'm fine with it. She needs to get taken down a bit. Yeah. You said it. It's Copycat is just too well statted for what the meta, for what the game even suggests right now. It just offered so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think it makes a lot of sense with like that's just the intel you get from it and everything too. Like I definitely think Copycat needs just
in Conquest. I know you don't play a lot of Conquest. Copycat in Conquest is so damn good.
Yes. Because
you figure out so much of their deck. It's insane.
No, I'm totally here for it. I think I had my change too. I think I just lost it, but I think going through here, I might be able to get it. Well, no, I know exactly what it was. I think White Widow needs to get hit again.
White Widow needs to get hit again?
I think White Widow needs to go to a -2 instead of a -3 for the Widow's Kiss.
Interesting.
I think.
I don't know.
I don't know. I just feel like this is easily one of the main clog enablers right now, and I'm just it's maybe it's just me facing the White Widow is the issue, but like they got to do something, or if it's not White Widow, they need to make Viper like a 3/4 as well instead of 3/5.
The Viper change I like a little more so than the White Widow one. I feel like White Widow is very good. Honestly, if you talked about a card that went to your side of the board, I kind of expect you to talk about the Acid Arrow. The Acid Arrow going to a 1/1.
It's still RNG for the Acid Arrow in my opinion, so I'm not as big of a hater on it. I know it's still like close to 50% chance you get an Acid Arrow because it's 2 draws from Kate Bishop, but
yeah,
no, and I don't think they touch Kate Bishop until like next season.
Yeah, at minimum, yeah. I definitely think in general there's some there's the Clogger type's very good right now, so I don't mind something getting hit in there. I don't know if I'm sold on any specific change though. It sounds weird, but like Viper at a 3/5 technically sends one of your cards over to the other side technically, so it makes sense to the 3/5 stat line. White Widow being the 2/5 kind of makes sense. It does clog your opponent's side more, so maybe that makes up for the 2/2. And even with the Kate Bishop, like you said, it's RNG for which arrow you get, so it's kind of just it gives you all the different. I don't know. There's a bunch of different little tools inside of those archetypes that I feel like are very much probably could get hit a little bit.
Yeah.
I just don't know which one's the correct answer there. But I don't mind something in this sphere getting slapped down a little bit. Yeah, I like that.
Just a little. Ever so slightly. But that's the OTA stuff we got working on. Now do we want to jump over to Hulkling, or do we want to jump over to Meta or Fun?
Let's talk about Hulkling.
Okay. Let me pull Hulkling up.
So Hulkling is a 6-cost, 11 power card that when you at the start of the game, this copies the text of a random 6-cost card. Now, at the time of recording this, he's not out. I don't think we have an answer on if he takes Agatha currently.
Do not know about that just yet.
So,
but it is start of the game.
It is start of game. So we have a lot of questions potentially about him, and we don't really have any good answers there. So, what do you feel about this card? What do you feel?
I think it's cool. I think that it starts at the beginning of the game and you get to see what you have. You then, of course, still have to draw this card for it to, take effect, or to just be able to use it, of course. But I think it's got a low floor and it's got a high ceiling. It could be a snap condition, but I don't necessarily know what exactly you plug Hulkling into just yet. I might try some Black Knight things, but like that's just cope.
I was thinking Hela currently. I think I was thinking Hela.
Yeah.
I think, and I know you're not a fan of Hela, so
I've been playing her actually recently, and it has been fun.
Yeah, I think he will do very well inside of a Hela list. Personally, I think he's one of the best places. The worst thing that could occur probably would be maybe Destroyer, but again, like that's the drawback of him. You have so many different options of what's really great, what's really bad there. But then there's so many middling effects that either just never matter or rarely matter.
Yeah.
And I think Emperor Hulkling's gonna be a solid card. The fact that he's not 6'12", like just Hulk, I think means that he's gonna be solid.
Yeah, I think, like you said, I think he's a glass cannon, I would say. When he
fair.
works really well, he's freaking on it. And when he hits, like the destroyer and stuff, it's, okay, well, I guess I'm not doing this motive this time. I'm going to do something else.
Yeah.
But he could be a snap condition, too. Because, if your hand does brick, but you draw this 6-drop to, help you get the card you weren't able to draw originally, it really can help you.
Yeah, that I think also the question becomes, when do you find out what he copies?
Yeah,
you find out.
At the start of the game.
No, but here's the thing. When do you find that out? Do you find out that he copies the card then? Do you know as soon as the game starts what you do?
Yeah,
I've seen questions
in the trailer.
They did. Oh, okay. So yeah, if you know this stuff as soon as the game starts, he's going to be a lot better. Then you know exactly what to do, what games you're snapping on, games you're retreating on. Another start of game animation, I'm here for it then. I didn't know that, so that actually changes it a little bit. He's going to be better than I originally thought.
Yeah,
I think he's going to be fine.
Very fun for sure.
He's going to be a good card, I think, instead of, again, Conquest, I'm going to keep talking about, because your opponent doesn't know what they're playing against every single time. There are so many cards that are 6-drops that are very poorly statted because they have very good abilities, and Emperor Hulkling's going to do a great job inside of those lists.
Yeah, no, I think I agree. In more of a tournament / a Conquest setting, Hulkling is that snap condition. Same like you're saying with Copycat. You even have more value in that sense because your opponent doesn't know what you stole.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, as long as, assuming, Hulkling doesn't have an animation or a sound effect that your opponent can hear whenever you get at the start of the game as well, something like that, which I think there are a few cards that have that fun fact, but no, I think Hulkling's going to do good. I think Hulkling is going to be a okay card. I don't think he's going to be one that you need to get, because also the Spotlight caches, Cannonball and Nimrod, I'm, especially considering everything coming out next week, I'd be surprised if this is one that's a hot topic week that a lot of people should be getting cards in.
Yeah, no, I agree. Something I'm interested about, though, is if you play Hulkling in High Evo, and you the Airshim thing, if Hulkling's interaction happens before High Evo's interaction happens, and Hulkling becomes a Hulk, just, base Hulk, High Evo
it's so weird.
Affect that Hulkling as well. But that's, of course, a random scenario kind of thing. But
I'm going to guess no. I'm going to guess it doesn't work because High Evo interacts with the individual cards and then changes the cards' abilities in the same way that if Emperor Hulk, if you Iron Lad Thor and then play Mjolnir, you're not, Iron Lad won't get the hammer. He will not get the buff.
Yep.
So I'm going to guess no. But if it did happen, weird interaction and they were trying to go for it. Okay, sure, whatever.
No, I think that was actually the perfect example you just brought up too, with the Iron Lad with Mjolnir kind of situation. So yeah, that's good.
Yeah. No, this will probably be, if you're not a content creator and if you don't have the extra keys for it, there's a lot of stuff happening next month. Don't sweat it.
Yes, next month and October and even November. These next 3 months are insane.
Yeah, it's a shame Toxin's going to be so weak. God, I hope he gets buffed.
Goodness gracious, this man's going to be on the Toxin. Needs to be even more buff train.
No, Toxin sucks currently. Toxin sucks, guys. If you don't know, Toxin is currently data mined to be a 2/1. Gain +2. Return your other cards here to your hand. Gain +2 power for each one that you do. I think it's just obviously going to be an atrocious card. I don't think it's going to be good in any way, shape, or form. I want to see it get buffed. I'm not just saying this because I already think it's going to be a great card and I want to see Bounce get buffed even more. Definitely not. Why would you suggest that? So weird of you. Going to be a horrible card.
No. Okay. Now, moving on to our last topic over here. We have meta or fun. I have no clue what this is, but Dance is about to go in.
Yeah. So this is, it's very simple. This is a pure conversational bit. I'm going to bring up a card and I want you to tell me if it's meta or fun. Basically, if it's good fun or good competitively, why or why not? And maybe it's both, maybe it's neither, and that doesn't matter. I'm interested in your opinions on a lot of the cards we've had inside of Marvel Snap, because I feel like a lot of the cards that we currently do have are honestly very competitive or are really fun. And I really want to see exactly where those different cards fall into the camp with you, whether it be one specific list that does a good job with the card, one specific list that is broken with the card.
Okay, I like this.
So I want to go with the simple one. All right, I'm gonna go with Yondu.
Yondu. Okay. I think Yondu is a fun card. I think there is some competitive elements of it, but not the most competitive. I think you get some really good intel with playing Yondu, and you can alter your opponent's combos playing the card as well. But I don't think this is like a... I mean, it's an archetype defining card, but not a meta defining card.
That's a good way to describe it. I like that. Okay, yeah. So you're leaning more on the fun side then, between meta and fun?
Yes, because like
okay.
as much as I love playing Mill, it is a meta dependent deck opposed to an always competitive deck.
You don't like playing Mill into Arishem? Weird.
Yeah, I get so much value out of it.
We in the spotlight caches for this week, we do have Nimrod. So you go on the destroy train. What do you think about Nimrod? Is Nimrod meta? Is he fun? Where is he for you?
So for me, Nimrod is a fun / alternative card. So Nimrod in that vein, like when I think of like a Phoenix Force list, you have Nimrod as an alternative line if you don't draw your Phoenix Force for your move cards. So it's not your primary win con, but can still be a potential win con. Or you're using him in some old school Shuri destroy list to be able to get some extra power with like Destroyer and stuff. So I think this is more of a fun... It still is a condition where people snap and retreat because they don't have enough power. But I feel like there's more matchups you lose with just having Nimrod as your primary win con, opposed to just a secondary option. Okay,
yeah, I like that. If I disagree with any of your takes, I'll let you know. But thus far, I think you're being very fair in the way you're describing them. How fair are you to Abomination? I'm okay if you talk about the Evo version.
So I think Abomination is one of those cards that is, I feel, better in Conquest than on Ladder. I think because the way decks can perform when it comes to like high Evo in some of these just single matchup games can win you games, but I feel like having some of the unknowns, like I feel like with Abomination, with Moon Girl, you're getting more value in that sense playing that list on like Conquest, whereas in Ladder you're playing more of the Ajax version probably with Hazmat and stuff to be able to get A-Bomb map early or be able to get some Ajax value. But I don't think this card overall is a meta card. I think it is a fun card, and the list that you use your A-Bomb in carry more weight than this card by itself.
I think that's a really good way to describe it. Yeah, the list that you use A-Bomb in does more than A-Bomb himself. I like that a lot, actually. Okay. How do you feel about America Chavez, then? This is a trick question. How do you feel about current American Chavez, then?
So America Chavez currently is a feels bad card. When she was originally in the game, she was a good card to play, but wasn't a good card for the game itself. Her ability enabled you to be able to kind of boost your luck to get some of your combo cards more consistently because you always drew Chavez on 6. So if you did not draw your combo cards before 6, you pretty much either you snap or retreat kind of thing. I think she needs more of a rework again. I think the 1+2 just isn't enough right now. I feel like I would rather play some other cards, like I'd rather play a Nico, I'd rather play an Okoye and boost my entire deck, or I'd play a Nakia to like boost my entire hand kind of thing. I feel like Chavez at a 1 is just feels bad. Maybe it's good for some of these early pools, but I think she definitely needs some help.
So this is not meta or fun for you?
No.
And I want to make it very clear. You want to play Okoye more than America Chavez?
Yes.
Okay, I disagree. This is not... I was even trying to bait you with new versus old America Chavez. I actually just... Really? Okay. I did not expect that. I feel like America Chavez is a very solid card. Just to be able to... just a +2. It's a 1/4. It doesn't... It's a 1/4. And I feel like if you're using her inside of the list that you want to buff the top card of your deck, she's going to be solid in it. Again, different opinions, but all right, okay. I'm not gonna. I don't want to argue this. We could argue it in a different bit. All right, this is just your initial impressions, and then I'll say mine if it differs from yours. All right. This one's a gimme. This one's a gimme. Gambit.
Gambit is just a fun card. I think he does have some utility in some of these newer discard lists, like the collector discard. I think there's actually some value if you're doing some helicarrier things because, you know, it is one of your only ways to really attack your opponent playing discard. But of course, it's also RNG to what it hits. I think a Gambit on curve also can be very useful because your opponent doesn't always have all they want on the board. So if you hit some of these focal cards, like potentially a Ravona, or you're hitting a Hope Summers if you don't have priority kind of thing, makes this card good, but like it's good with an asterisk. It's more of just a fun kind of just like, let me see what wombo combo I can really get off kind of game.
Okay, yeah, that's completely fair. I said it was a gimme, and I was right. How do you feel about a card that I'm pretty sure doesn't have a bad variant in the game, Storm?
I think this is actually an underutilized card. I even think with the amount of movement we have in the game currently, I definitely think Storm is a card that always finds a way to be useful in the meta, and like I feel like there's always cards coming out that help Storm. Like I feel like Speed's one of those cards you can throw onto a Storm lane and kind of forget about it because you just normally do its thing. I feel like this card has kind of been put on the backseat a little bit more also with, you know, Professor X being changed in the lockdown meta. But I still feel like this is a good card, but it is a meta-dependent card opposed to a super ultra competitive consistent card.
Okay, I think I like that. What do you feel about Infinite?
So Infinite's also really interesting. So like Infinite, I feel like is a card that, thank you, that kind of can flex like in a lot of different situations. Still very like similar lists all the time, whether it's a discard list, whether if it is a She-Not list. Those are the main two you really see them in. I like the instances you see them now with War Machine kind of thing. I don't think this is more of an ultra competitive card. I think it's more of a solid fun card, but not to the sense where it can't be competitive. I just feel like this is also a very interesting card depending on where the meta's at. There were definitely instances where Shang-Chi's play rate was down, and you were able to draw Infinites and stuff as much as you wanted to. But now with more resurgence of Shang-Chi and the way Hela feels right now, it's kind of just a good card opposed to like a super meta card. So like a good fun card.
Okay. I like that. I like that logic. What do you feel about Havoc? I'm teeing you up for some easy ones and some hard ones here. I feel like there's very many ways these points could go, especially based off person.
So Havoc is not a meta card. It's definitely a fun card, but I also think it's a sneaky card. In the sense that you're always like, oh, I can just Shadow King Havoc, and then I'm just gonna win the lane. But like that +4 power does, I feel like, creep up on you sometimes, and you're like, oh, they just played Havoc on, you know, turn 4. They're gonna only have 3 energy for the rest of the game. I'm gonna snap this because I'm gonna beat it, and then Havoc just wins you the game. Like it wins your opponent the game. So I definitely think it's a card that is not really like a meta card. It's definitely a fun card, but it's more on like the sneaky side opposed to purely just being a fun card you play for the bit because, oh no, I'm not gonna have this extra energy, because this can really actually scale in power.
Yeah, no, Havoc I feel like is a meta, fun, or sneaky. Forgot to add the last word in this little bit. Yes, meta, fun, or sneaky. Obviously the third answer, of course.
Sneaky.
I've only got a few more here. I feel like again some of these. This one I want your opinion on. Ultron.
So Ultron right now, if I can spell, is it honestly a card that's in a really good spot. I think as much as I would want the drones to go back to 1/1, I think Ultron going to a 6/6 is actually a better nerf for the card because of how prominent and how good it is in the meta. So I think nuking his power just a little bit is better than reverting the drones, because also I don't want to affect the early series, you know, gameplay, because he is series 3, but I feel like that's another reason why it's so popular right now, is because a lot of people have access to this card, which is very good for Marvel Snap overall. But I would say this is a meta card. right now. I think it is definitely a meta card. And I mean, I have fun. I love playing Patriot. So, like, I think it is a fun meta card. I think the deck it's normally played in right now is not a fun deck to face because Sandman just feels so oppressive. But, like, old school, you're playing Blarvel instead of Sandman. I actually enjoy.
Okay, I get, you know what, I can agree with that. I know you enjoy Ultron more than I do, so I want your opinion there. I got 2 more here. One of them is what do you think about Poor Man's Sage? Poor Man's Sage, aka Wolfsbane.
So this card is in a horrible state, I would say. Especially when Toxic comes out. I don't think you like pretty much ever play this card again, kind of thing, unless you're only in Series 2 because it is a Series 2 card.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that. It is better. It does better stuff for it's so bad.
So I think you're like what's great about Wolfsbane is you can get the Ravonna synergy. But if you're trying to get Ravonna synergy, you're not playing Wolfsbane. You would play another kind of, you know, animal humanoid kind of. You'd play a white tiger instead of a Wolfsbane for some better value. But I think this card's been power crept, and it's just like it feels bad. Sage is better. Your Toxin's gonna be better. I think as much as I wouldn't want to take away the Ravonna energy, I think you need to make this a 3/3 to make it more competitive. But I think it's just it's not even a fun card. It's just a feels bad card at this point.
The only thing I'm gonna argue with is that this card has been power crept. I don't think this card was ever good.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna say that this card, even when it was used before Sage came out, I don't think it was good there.
It's such a competitive slot with 3 costs too, so.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's such a good slot, and Wolfsbane having a hard cap of 7, I feel like it's just not. There's better cards. Like even honestly, speed's better.
Yeah, and it's more consistent too. You don't have to, you know, do everything and like fill an entire lane to get your maximum value out of speed. Maximum Wolfsbane is a 3/7 speed. You're just playing, you know, 4 turns full energy.
Yeah. All right. Here's the last one. The last one, meta or fun. What do you feel about Moon Knight?
So, I really enjoy Moon Knight, and I am high on Moon Knight. Okay, but
Would you say that you're over the moon?
I would say I'm over the moon for Moon Knight for sure.
Okay, cool. Sorry.
I think this is also just a fun card though. I think there's instances where this is competitive, and I know like you're using him in like one of the best lists in the game with the Darkhawk list and everything too. But like Moon Knight is a win con, but it's not like the primary win con in that list. It is a great addition to be able to, you know, get your Proxima on the board. It's your only, you know, even cost card there and hit one of your opponent's big cards. But like, I don't necessarily think this is a huge meta defining card. I love the change and I love that it makes it better. But I think there's a card coming out in October that actually will be a meta defining discard card. And I feel like when it comes to competitiveness, Moon Knight made discard a little bit more competitive, but discard is not in the place yet to be a top line competitive deck.
That's fair. Yeah. I will say I think this is meta and fun personally, because I think the fun not only of being able to I think that one of the best parts about Moon Knight currently is being able to build your deck to use very few even costed cards, or the only even cost cards that you actually want to use.
Right.
I think that's one of the most fun parts, and then the competitiveness of being able to get rid of your 6 drops that your opponent has. The amount of times I've hit an Ultron away from some Sandman players, and then they just retreat, and then my Proxima still goes on the board.
Yep.
It's just, I don't know. Maybe that's the only other opinion I will say on this specific bit. I think Moon Knight's a meta and a fun card, personally.
I think there's instances where he's meta, but I don't think he's like top meta. He's
no. I'm not saying top. I'm not even saying top meta with this whole thing. It's competitive and or fun, but because again, Wolfsbane still ain't that.
Wolfsbane not even close, bro.
No. It's but this was just a simple little thing. I feel like oftentimes people will ask, "Hey, what's your favorite card?" or what card needs to get buffed most? And we hit that second question often. But even just your favorite card, or even just talking about why certain cards are good / bad.
Yeah.
I think is a very interesting conversation. So that's the logic behind this meta or fun bit.
All right. Well, that was awesome. I enjoyed that, and I like your takes on it too.
There you go. I disagree with some of your takes.
That's okay. It happens sometimes. We can't agree on everything. That the world wouldn't revolve, properly.
No, it'd be fine. But I think that's a good yap sesh right there.
Yeah, we knocked out of the park. If you guys have any takes down below on any cards you want us to talk about, I think we were gonna talk about some Infinity Conquest real quick before we went out of here. I think mainly maybe on some strategies that we had with Infinity Conquest, and kind of I think going into that aspect. What do you think you would advise people when it comes to some of these Infinity Conquest games?
Biggest thing is that I feel like I don't know. I'm personally not gonna play Infinity Conquest until Thursday for the OTA. So my advice is gonna be very dependent because the Conquest is completely, if you play it beforehand, play some Darkhawk Cassandra Nova maybe.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'd just say wait, because I really want to have some fun time instead of Marvel Snap. I play this game for fun. Doing Infinity Conquest with only Airshim, that ain't gonna be it, Chief. That ain't it.
Yeah, no, and I think that's a good, actually, like, a good shout is wait potentially till Thursday, because also people will be trying out new decks, and doing that, you can kind of maximize your situation there. And I think something too, when it comes to just Conquest overall, is try and escape for as little cubes as possible while finding out as much intel about what your opponent's playing beforehand. So, like, if you do have a god hand the first game, 100% you should snap. Like, that's still, like, just the way snap goes. But if you're, like, having a bad hand, sometimes it is better to kind of to play out up until kind of final turn, especially if they haven't snapped, to just get intel.
I've many times, if my opponent isn't stabbing me, I don't play a card. I've got a bad time. I'm like, well, I lose nothing if I retreat now or just wait till they snap me. I just sit there and I hit end turn and I just watch the cards they play. And I get that information. I write it down, and then I can move into the next game with that stuff, and it works out so much better for me than anything else that I could try to do.
Yeah,
so
intel's so important. That's why, like we were talking about, Copycat so good. That's why Loki is so good, because you also get intel on what your opponent's playing, kind of thing. So, like, it's just, that's what Snap is at the end of the day. It's, you're not counting cards, but you're counting whatever characters are on the cards, kind of thing, But
no, I agree with that 100%. Yeah.
But yeah, that's the gist.
Pick your information.
Pick your
I think it's a good gist.
Carefully.
Yeah, that's a good gist. I feel like there's going to be a lot of interesting stuff. I feel like, I don't know. I wish I could give better advice specifically on Infinity Conquest, but I really feel like it's just going to be wait. I think that's legitimately the best advice I can give. Also, if you go for it as soon as the meta changes, or as soon as something like that occurs, you get a lot more stuff going on, because you can learn. If the meta is uncertain, if people are still trying to figure out what they want to do in the game, you have a lot, like just playing a good deck that maybe didn't get hit by the OTA.
Yep.
Running that and just going straight into it really does a lot. Or even a deck that maybe got nerfed a little bit, people aren't going to expect it.
Yeah. And
so
you can win 5 games in a row, so just play whatever you're most comfortable with.
If you lose, the best Marvel Snap players do not have an 80% win rate. And 80% is unattainable. And to play to win Infinity Conquest, you have to have better than 80% win rate.
Yes.
So don't be upset if you lose. It happens. I've gotten Infinity Borders. I think I've had 5, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I think I'm a decent player.
I have like 4 maybe, so like.
Yeah, I'm better than Tucker, so you can trust me more than him.
On record. On record.
I'm a liar. I'm so sorry.
On record. Dance is better. Confirmed. Top 25 player, by the way.
He said it, not me. I am top 25 player, by the way. Tucker's never gotten there. I have a screenshot. It's on my Twitter. Top 25. Hit that last season. Really easy.
But where can we find you, Dance? Where can we find you out?
I had to post once in a while, speaking of, on Twitter, where I'll post my, top 10 screenshots of whatever deck I use to get into the top bits of ladder. And then I don't play ladder for the rest of the season because I've already hit the top 25. Why would I play again? Why? Imagine playing ladder. There's no rewards to getting higher in ladder. That's why you do conquest. Conquest gives you legitimate reward. To get boosters, you can get infinity avatars. What do you get for being top? What do you get for your grind inside of into getting into top 1,000, Tucker, all season? What's your reward there?
Get some bragging rights. Get some clicks.
Oh, cool. I'm getting infinity to avatars. You have bragging rights. That's cool too. I'm so sorry. I don't know why it turned so toxic.
I mean, if Conquest actually had like good rewards besides, you know, just the random boosters I get for Martyr, you know, it would be way better.
Bro, Martyr's meta. Did you not see the brand new gorgeous Justina variant? Justina keeps killing it. The Titania is gorgeous too.
I mean, Justina is just on top of the world. No, I agree. I like that, but like,
yeah.
I don't play Zoo, so.
Oh, well, that's on you. Don't worry. No, there's a lot of fun stuff. No, but yeah, I'm on Twitter. Maybe I have, and then I'm more often on Twitch. Not my dance. Same places everywhere. Follow if you want to, but more importantly, you should be sub to this channel if you're not. Sub to Tucker. He's an absolutely great individual. Sub here on his YouTube, or you know, go over to his Twitch channel. You know, his Twitch channel, he's live there like 6 or 7 times a week, pretty much. Maybe even does a 24-hour stream because he hates himself. So y'all should jump over there, drop him a follow, drop him a sub if you want to too. It's $6, you know, it's fine. It's fine.
But make sure you're following Dance on all platforms before.
But like I said, Tucker should really be the one that you're here already. Why would you leave this place to go follow me and then go back here to follow? It doesn't make any sense.
But you guys have a good one. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you on the next Yap, where we actually we go over the new season and maybe we give some insight on what we think will be the best cards.
Yeah, it'll be fun stuff. We'll see you guys around.
Yeah, laters.